You're listening to an Airwave Media Podcast.
So, we're all taught colors of the rainbow. Red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet. You ever think, why indigo? Why do we have indigo in there? It doesn't seem to make sense. It doesn't fit in neatly with the color wheel. It's not something that's easy for people to remember. So why is indigo included? Surprisingly enough, there's no real good reason. It's all just because 300 years ago, some dude thought it'd be nice if there were 7 colors in the rainbow to match 7 notes in the musical scale.
I feel like who art Ed?
We'll try to spice it.
Who art it? Mr. Wood art Ed me.
Good. Either way, it's ambiguous. It works on so many levels.
I know.
That's off to a great start.
Welcome to Who Arted, where we explore visual arts in an audio medium. I'm your host, Kyle Wood. This season, I thought it'd be nice to do a Fun Fact Friday series of minisodes featuring a different, odd bit of art history or surprising bit of science in the arts. So for this week's Fun Fact Friday, we're looking at the somewhat surprising history of the color wheel and the color spectrum brought to us by Sir Isaac Newton. Now, personally, as a grown man who's been corrected by a small child when I said that the colors of the rainbow are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple, it feels nice to be vindicated and realize that the difference between blue, indigo, and violet, the ROY G BIV model of it, is completely arbitrary. So, to understand the background on this, you need to know that Sir Isaac Newton was doing a lot of experiments with optics and with color, and around the year 1700, he was conducting experiments and writing up papers focusing on how color is light and how light makes color. So what he discovered was that by running the white light through a prism, he could break it up into the color spectrum, the visible spectrum, all the different colors that we can see, commonly referred to as a rainbow. But the thing he observed, as we all have, is that a rainbow is not 7 or any specific number of stripes. It's sort of a continuum. It is one color that smoothly blends and transitions into the next. So you could break it up into a million different colors. Of course, the human eye, it's kind of hard for us to detect such subtle differences in color. So he came up with 7, largely just because he liked the number 7. He thought 7 was a wonderful symbolic number of perfection. He thought 7 colors in the visible spectrum would correspond perfectly with the 7 notes in the musical octave. And that's it. We have 7 colors, ROY G BIV, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet, just because Sir Isaac Newton wanted the visual arts to sort of match and be unified with musical art forms. For all practical purposes, it's probably easier to organize it into the 6 colors, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. Indigo's kind of just stuck in there arbitrarily as a difference between blue and purple just to get to that number 7. So if you forget about indigo, if you forget ROY G BIV, it's okay. And if anyone ever gives you a hard time for not including indigo in the rainbow, you can always point out that including indigo, having 7 colors in the visible spectrum, is not scientifically more accurate. It's simply accurately reflecting one scientist's superstitious beliefs. This concludes this week's episode of Who Arted. If you found this tolerable, please like and subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening. You can find images of the work being discussed this week and every week in the show notes, on Twitter @WoodArtEd, and on the website whoartedpodcast.com. Podcast done.